What's up, y'all? Rich Slayton here, back with another Best of Clash Royale, this time from the Bernard Chong Cup 3, ongoing right now live on Twitch, YouTube, with myself, Cashman, Eric, Benamu, all doing the casting in English. This is a great matchup between two number ones at different times in the world. SK Gaming's XOPXSAM has been number one on ladder, and of course Rubén, the defending world champion of Clash Royale League. Before we get started on this great dual mode matchup in the European region, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, ring the bell for notifications, and of course use code RICH in the Supercell shop for any purchases in Clash Royale, Clash of Clans, Brawl Stars, whatever you're doing in Supercell. Go ahead and use code RICH, or at least use some creator's code. That's enough of all the stuff up front. Let's go ahead and jump right into the video. A great matchup between two of the best in Clash Royale. And here we go. Sam top your screen and Rubén on the bottom. No surprises here. Sam going wall breakers. At one time, the Germans were known as Royal Hogs people, the Piggies, but lately it's been minor wall breakers for both Sam and his teammate Morten. The deck they tend to favor the most. Snowball coming out from Rubén, as was at one time the number one spell in Clash Royale, but now has fallen drastically. But you see Miner, you see Snowball, you gotta feel like it's Balloon, and Rubén is known for Balloon. Two decks you expect to see Rubén play in a dual mode battle, some sort of Balloon deck and some sort of Hog deck. So we'll see if he goes with Hog as well. And if this is, in fact, and there you go, the Loon comes out high and aggressive. Nice zappies there on the bats, but Inferno Tower, of course, great call there from Sam in game number one with this deck. Notice he didn't go Tesla in game number one, so Inferno Tower will be great against those Loons, of course. Spear Goblins, Bats, and Inferno Tower. Nice even trade there, 5 for 5 with the Balloon for the big tower. Mega Knight played aggressively at the bridge. High Fisherman behind, and this is a really, really nice high defense out of Sam, controlling that Mega Knight right there at the bridge, and now a decent little counter push coming for the German as the whoa, Fireball comes in. This could be a whole lot of damage. Zappy's played in response. No Elixir for Rubén, and that's a huge early chunk taken by the Germans. 17-20 remaining on that left-hand side as we pass by the midway point of regulation time, and a wow out of Rubén in that moment. So minor MK Loon for Rubén, who did all the right things when it came to the first push, but that Mega Knight got absolutely shut down. He kind of thirsted for Elixir there at the end. You don't often see Rubén on the low end of Elixir in trouble like that, but we did hear Sam, again, has finished number one on ladder in his past, has been a long-time CRL great, maybe behind the shadow of his teammate Morten, but still a world-class pro. And here he goes pressuring the right-hand side with those wall breakers. Electro Spirit will be more than up to the job of stopping those. No, one does connect a little bit late there maybe on the Electro Spirit. I actually never thought about that interaction before for wall breakers and E-Spirit. Maybe that's how it always goes down. Bats high, no Electro Spirit for the Bats. Snowball, though, is available, takes the Bats out. Balloon going right to that Inferno Tower, does force out the Fireball, and now a little bit extra Elixir here for Rubén. Does have a slight advantage, but the Miner and the Spear Goblins control nicely. 20 seconds left. 3 up in the hole for Rubén, but of course, there was a little bit over 3 on the board there with the Miner and the Spear Goblins, and now Rubén does appear to be ahead as he cycles Mega Minion in the back, and Fisherman goes to the opposite direction. Dark Prince in reply from XOPXSAM. That's a big setup on the right-hand side. Right now the lead for Sam, but Sam is playing a chip deck, and Rubén's playing a KO deck. You have, of course, the Mega Knight, but that Balloon can change things in an instant. Early setup here with the Inferno Tower, and it's the Miner going in front. Balloon targeting the Inferno Tower. Rubén's done things like this in the past. We saw him try to take out Barb Huts with Royal Ghosts when that Royal Giant Royal Ghost deck was popular. Balloon does not connect, but Mega Knight does play a little bit of defense. A lot on the left-hand side. 2 MKs down. One will go down in just a moment, but that's under 1,000 HP on the left-hand lane, but Rubén now has finally drawn blood. Bats get taken out by Electro Spirit, but it does not get to the Inferno Tower. And that's the interesting thing about the Electro Spirit in this matchup, is it has not been able to get to the Inferno Tower to actually help it reset. And now this is a Balloon, just a pressure Loon. Balloon goes in, Snowball in, forces out a lot of Elixir, and now a bit of an Elixir advantage here for Rubén, who's getting really, really aggressive with the bridge plays. We saw it earlier with the Mega Knight, now doing it again with these Zappies. Final minute, Triple Elixir on its way, and this is the danger zone for XOPXSAM. Yes, he can cycle on defense, but how quickly can Rubén get around with the miners, the Electro Spirits, the snowballs to make rooms for those balloons? And there you go, balloon set up in the bottom right-hand corner. Gonna have to be responded to in some way. Plenty of time for Sam to make a decision, but plenty of time for Rubén to cycle back around one more time. High Electro Spirit, this time again, does not quite get to the Inferno Tower. 2 towers down, Fireball in. That's a lot being spent by Sam on the right-hand lane, and look at this. Balloon trying to sneak on past, and the bats are distracted. Electro Spirit gets in. That Loon has a real shot of doing some real serious damage. Mega Knight gets on tower with the Miner as well. There's a lot of damage in, and there you go. Just like that, we are very, very close. Wallbreaker's making a beeline, and again, does that happen? The Wallbreaker connects. The Balloon almost a tower, gets stopped by the Inferno Tower. Miner in. Under 700 HP. Miner goes the opposite direction now for Sam. Snowball trying to help. This thing is very, very close. The lead goes to Rubén for just a moment. Fireball comes in. Will it be enough? And it is. Fireball gets there in time. The Miner not able to finish things. Huge, huge win here for XOPXSAM in game number 1. Rubén running Miner Loon, one of the decks he is certainly known for, but Sam able to come out on top by just a hair. Miner on the tower, 213 HP I think it was remaining, and the Fireball finishes things off. And you think about those Zappies played early in the pocket on defense against the Miner, and I believe it was Spear Goblins, that not only did that Fireball clear it out and get a ton of damage for that Miner and Spear Gobs, but it also put 1 extra Fireball of damage on that tower. So a very, very interesting exchange early on. Maybe played a role in how that thing broke down later in the game. So that's a big game number 1 win for XOPXSAM. Let's jump into game number 2 and take a look and see what Rubén has in reply. And again, Rubén already played Miner Loon. Fireball no longer available for Sam, so that does make Mother Witch a bit more appealing on Rubén's side, or any sort of deck that would typically struggle against Fireball. And you can see the previous decks provided by Stats Royale there on the left-hand side, so no MK on the side of Rubén, so that opens things up maybe for Piggies for Sam, and no Fireball on their side. And there you go. Fireball out, and immediately XOPXSAM goes, and look at that. Very, very nice high Electro Wizard. Good read there by Rubén to recognize that when the Inferno Dragon came out in response to that P.E.K.K.A, that the Electro Wizard would be able to get it there at the bridge and force out more. So right now, even though the Elixir seems pretty even, a whole lot more on the board for Rubén, and he is putting pressure in. Spamming the bridge as you might do. This NATO, not going to do a lot. NATOing against a Bandit is really, really dangerous, and we see the results right there. If you NATO to stop a Bandit from killing tower, you better have that perfect. Usually that turns into a whole lot of problems. I'd love to go back maybe and take a look at what else Sam had in cycle at the moment. That NATO couldn't get any sort of reset, and that is a huge opening blow from Rubén. Has not taken a lick of damage yet, the Team Queso representative, and now does get the Ram Rider down. So you see Mother Witch on both sides. Of course, Sam could have still been against Fireball, could still technically be against Fireball at this stage. We'll see. Often P.E.K.K.A Ram Rider runs Lightning, but Poison and Fireball both are options, and Poison making a bit of a comeback these days. Royal Ghost with 2 converted Piggies up front, and that's just a ton of damage here. Sam just playing from the back foot the entire time. Rubén completely in control, and it was all about that first exchange at the bridge. The high E-Wiz making that Inferno Dragon no longer effective against the P.E.K.K.A and forcing out that Lightning. Absolute mayhem here in game number 2. And Rubén with a full health P.E.K.K.A responding to a Mother Witch. Electro Giant comes down for the Kite. Now this is interesting. Electro Giant with the Kite, the Ram Rider picked up by the Goblin Cage. P.E.K.K.A will go for a long walk, but E-Wiz comes on the other side, and NATO not going to really be the move here for that Electro Wizard. So Sam does put in a decent chunk of damage on the right-hand side, but it leaves a completely healthy Mama P.E.K.K.A and almost healthy Mama P.E.K.K.A and a completely healthy Electro Wizard behind. E-Wiz not going to go support the P.E.K.K.A on the left. Doesn't really matter. Look at that Fireball coming in, and this is absolutely devastating for Sam. Made the best move he could, but Electro Wizard with the Mama P.E.K.K.A and the Ram Rider was always going to be a hard thing for him to pull off, and that is completely overwhelming on the left-hand side. You saw what he was going for there with the Kite against the P.E.K.K.A with the Electro Giant, but all it did was set up a completely healthy counter push and spread himself even more thin. So there we are, all tied up at 1-1 between Rubén and XOPXSAM. It was interesting. You saw things on both sides that early on in the match, early on in the game, affected the final result. In game number 1, those Zappies played maybe a little bit too close to that Princess Tower, gave the Fireball and tower damage value for what was, in the end, a very close race. Here, we see the Inferno Dragon go in response to the P.E.K.K.A, but played maybe just a half second too early so that E was able to shut it down at the bridge. Very, very interesting early game stuff, affects the late game. Let's go ahead and see what happens as we move into game number 3, the deciding game. And Magic Archer for Sam, Rubén showing Skeletons and Ice Spirit, and Tesla, probably not Expo, out of Rubén. Of course, there's a very popular Hog deck that runs those 3 cards as well. A couple popular Hog decks. We'll see what he's going for. And it is Drill for for Sam. And Rubén running no drill counters most likely. It's probably not going to be Dark Prince or Valk as part of this. And there you go. It is Hog. So looking for that last card to be either Earthquake or maybe Rocket. But Earthquake would be a little bit more standard these days. You would love to have that, of course, against that Tesla. We'll see if that's the direction Rubén's going in. But no direct counter to the Goblin Drill. Can play Knight and it's okay. Can play Skeletons and Log together. But still, you love to have a Valk or a Dark Prince. Wonder why he's not running Valk in this one. And you see the Musketeer coming out. Kind of classic look here out of Rubén. And probably not going to... It's going to be interesting. Probably not EQ. We'll see what he goes with. And it's the Drill Cycle for Sam. Drill and Tesla both can really shut down that Hog. Of course, right now it is Rubén with the lead. Flying Machine, a bit hard to control here. And if, of course, it's not Fireball, as we saw. Wait. Let's go take... I think we'll get the decks for Rubén. I don't think Rubén played Fireball yet. Very, very interesting. So Snowball was what he played. He played... What did he play in game number 2? Was it Lightning? We'll have to go ahead and take a look. I don't remember what his deck was. We should see the decks here in just a moment. But not using Fireball on that Flying Machine. And of course, neither Earthquake or Rocket would be great. Rocket could take it out, but would be a bit of an over-expenditure. Flying Machine comes down, and there you see the Skeletons Log against Drill. It's a nice little +1 trade to give up some damage. That's a nice Magic Archer high to get some chip damage out of XOPXSAM. Little counter push, but should be easily dealt with here, as it is Rubén just with 1. And there we go, take a look at the decks. Okay, so yes, it was Rubén, did run Fireball in that last game. I'm trying to remember if I saw it in that last one. Rubén did run Fireball, though, so not available. So it's going to be Earthquake or Rocket, and it is Rocket. Rocket Cycle coming in. And that's, of course, why we've seen him not really address the Flying Machines, doing it with Skeletons and Teslas so far. Musketeer can be part of that response. Flying Machine does take a shot. At the moment, Sam ahead by a little over 100 HP as that Hog tries to sneak on through here. Interesting. The Hog is typically thought of as pressure with these cycle decks, and that's the question right now. Is Rubén going for Hog hits or just going for pressure? With EQ, he could just cycle like a madman. Rocket, kind of a rough call here in this one. You haven't faced Tesla yet. You haven't faced Drill yet. Obviously, you're not going to use EQ against Drill defensively. Very, very interesting choice here, going for Rocket. I wonder maybe what Rubén was putting Sam on in game number 3 here. Takes care of business on the left-hand side, 1636 to 1491, as we are in sudden death overtime. And Flying Machine down one more time. Rubén does have a big advantage if we do get the triple, and the game is pretty close here with that spell cycle. Can shut things down pretty nicely. You get caught flat-footed once, though, and that drill can be a problem. So it does have 4 on the board. Rubén, even in the hole, but does have the Musketeer 4 elixir advantage. Muskie doesn't get anything here. Now Muskie protected by the Knight, and Rubén doing a lot of cycling. Just trying to get a Hog on tower behind this big push. But the drill comes out on defense, and that Hog could get a shot. Not going to do it, though. Those Goblins actually spawn maybe a bit earlier than Rubén wanted, and the Hog can't get away. And so the DPS takes it down. Hog Rider not getting hits here, and that was a big sellout for Rubén to get that Hog on tower. Now Hog again. Drill's going to go to the front, trying to keep this Musketeer alive. You see Rubén kind of going by that adage, protect your Musketeer. and making sure no shots come in. Rubén now with the lead as the rocket cycle comes in. We are in triple elixir, final 35 seconds on its way. The drill comes in, and the Knight goes to the drill, and the Knight, oh my word! The Knight pushed back by the drill out of range, and the flying machine connects. The flying machine connects. That's going to be it. GG, well played. What a wild ending to this one. The Goblin Drill came in and pushed the Knight back that was countering, and that meant the Knight didn't pick up the flying machine. That is just absolutely brutal. One of those interactions that on a dime changes the game, changes everything. It really felt like Rubén had that one in hand, but that drill just pushing the Knight out of the way. That's so wild, but that's one of those reasons why you love Clash Royale. A great back and forth matchup between Sam and Rubén, with what a crazy finish for that one. Crazy finish in game number 1, total turnaround of events in game number 2, and then game number 3, a pitched battle back and forth. But Flying Machine can be so frustrating if you don't get it off the board quickly, and in that case, Rubén had been cycling rockets. Knight gets pushed away by the drill. I wonder if Sam intended that, or if that was just a lucky interaction. You know, you got to think that the Knight came out early, and then the drill, maybe can't really predict that. But man, that was a big turn of fortune there for XOPXSAM, who takes a big win here in the European region for the Bernard Chong Cup 3. That's it for today's Best of Match. Hope you really enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed watching it and talking about it with you guys. If you did enjoy it, of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video. Let me know if there's other matches from some of these events that you want us to talk about here. It's so much fun to be able to go through all these different events and bring you some of the best of Clash Royale. Of course, don't forget to use my code RICH in the Supercell shop. And that's it for today. As always, make sure to be excellent to each other.